Hey, friends. How y'all doing today? Tyra here with Inspired Life, where hearts are inspired to live fully in the mind, in the body, and in the spirit. Listen, you know I show up in this space to bring y'all practical strategies for holistic living. And so today, I got something we need to talk about. How y'all doing? Thank y'all for coming right on in. Listen, I got something on my heart we got to talk about, y'all. I don't want y'all living less than what God has for you. I don't want you living in less than what God has for you. So we're going to be talking about today some strategies, okay, on how y'all can live the way that God wants you to live. Because this is what I've noticed. I've noticed something about how we're living, and we just living below God's absolute best for us. And we can't have that. We cannot go into 2022 this way, and we cannot allow less than what God has for us to be our portion. No. Here's the thing I've noticed, and I posted this on my social media feed. And the thought is this. The thought is we have become so acclimated. We have become so accustomed. We have gotten so familiar with. We have gotten so comfortable with sickness and disease that we think that that's just the regular way our bodies are supposed to work. I am confounded by this. We think, oh, I just have this pain in my hip and I'm supposed to live with this. We think, oh man, my fingers, they just gonna hurt. You know, it is what it is. I just got inflammation in my joints. I mean, it just gonna be what it is. No, and no again. How is it that we've come to accept sickness, disease, low energy, fatigue as our baseline? How has that happened? I'm trying to figure it out. I completely do not understand it. It confounds me. It confounds me that we've come to think and come to accept and have gotten comfortable with the fact that we have to live with all of these conditions. Nope, it's a lie. It's a lie from the pit of hell. So what I've come to do today is to challenge this flawed theology and to give us some practical strategies on how we can align ourselves to healing, how we can align ourselves to health, how we can align ourselves to wholeness. All right. So the first observation is this. We've gotten way too comfortable with accepting less than in terms of our overall well-being. And we need to rethink that. All right. We have come to think that, well, I just don't have any energy, and so then whole cultures are built around the fact that then, we have to have this coffee. So then we erect whole little monuments and idols to coffee culture. We buy mugs and journals and throw blankets and t-shirts, and we literally create a whole system and a whole monument that supports this whole coffee thing, right? Because we've come to accept and gotten comfortable with the fact that we have no energy and we have fatigue. So then we build this whole structure around a thing. So I'm just using coffee as one example of how we accept deficiency in our health as a thing, and then we go and build whole monuments around the thing, not calling the thing out. since we're talking about energy and coffee. So then we built whole monuments around, oh, let me drink a power drink. Let me drink the sport drink, or what, all this other drinks. So then there are whole lines, right, of these drinks so that we can have energy. You all see what I'm saying here? Do you see what I'm saying? How we create whole monuments, whole systems to support a deficiency that we've come to accept and get comfortable with. All right. So that's just one example for like lack of energy and fatigue. Let's look at this one. Let's think about bowel movements. So it is not normal to not have regular bowel movements. So God wired your body with these naturally built-in detoxification systems. So everybody wants some type of cleanse, some type of herbal tea, some type of detox, all these monuments we build around detoxification. Guess what? God has already given you your pathways of detoxification. And that's something I'm going to be talking more about in January, and be talking about these natural ways that God wired the body for detoxification. But let's just look at the bowels for a minute. So we are not having regular bowel movements. So then we have to, again, build these monuments, right? Medications, over-the-counter medications, coffee enema, I don't know, whatever people are doing to try to then have a bowel movement. When your body, if you're consuming the right foods, if you are properly hydrated, if you're eating enough healthy fats, and you're consuming enough fiber, and you're not stressed. Stress will hold in your bowel movement too. If you're holding on to things emotionally, it will hold in your bowel too. So if you're not doing these things in order to have regular bowel movements, then you've come to accept that as your normal. And then if we're not having regular bowel movements, then that's going to show up. That's going to show up in how we feel with cramping and irritability in our gut. That's going to show up in our skin, maybe, in outbreaks. And then so we got to use, some skincare product to take care of something because we're not having regular bowel movement. We've come to accept and got comfortable with living less than what God has designed for us in terms of our health. So we're comfortable with fatigue. We've built the monument of the coffee and the drinks. We've come comfortable with not being able to go number 2 regularly several times a day. So then we have to do all these other things to try to compensate for the way that shows up in our life. Do y'all see where I'm going with this? It frustrates me. It frustrates me when God's people have been deceived. And then we come to accept less than for our lives. And it doesn't have to be that way. It does not have to be that way. We've come to, hey Sharice, thank you for joining. We've come to accept brain fog, okay, as a way of life. Oh, I can't think clearly. Oh, I can't remember what I was supposed to do. Oh, what was I doing again? And we just go about like brain fog, and not being able to think clearly is, just the way it goes. And then we make excuses and concessions for it. Oh, I've been extremely busy. Oh, I got a lot on my plate. Oh, I got mom brain. All these cute little clever things that we say when no, it is not natural and it is not okay. And no, I'm not going to get comfortable with brain fog. Why is it that I have brain fog? Is it perhaps I'm not breathing properly? Is it I'm not consuming the right foods? What's contributing to this? Because brain fog is not God's desire for me. He needs me to be able to think clearly so that I can execute the things that he is showing me and the things that he is telling me. So no, I'm not going to get comfortable with not being able to think clearly. I'm not going to get comfortable early in the morning, crawling out the bed and it's like, oh God, I can barely make it. Oh, from the time your feet hit the floor. That is not God's desire for us. It is not God's desire for us to wake up already defeated. But we get comfortable with that. We get comfortable thinking we're supposed to claw our way out of the bed every morning. We get comfortable when we stumble to the bathroom and then we go and sit on the toilet and our knees hurt and our hips hurt and our ankles hurt. And we could barely get ourselves up off the toilet seat. No, man. No, we are not comfortable with sickness and disease. We're not comfortable with chronic pain. We're going to break that mentality. We're going to break that. That is not being in health and prospering even as our souls prosper. That's not God's will for us. Absolutely not. So what is the truth? The truth is you can live well. The truth is you don't have to suffer from chronic conditions and accept them as your baseline of health. And because we've accepted all this chronic stuff as our baseline of health, we don't even know what it feels like to feel good. Do you know a chronic stuffy nose is not health? That's like not, you ain't supposed to chronically just be having a ton of mucus. No. You can breathe out these two nostrils. That is what is healthy. That's what's chronically healthy. But if we're constantly consuming foods that have a lot of gluten, that have a lot of dairy, then yeah, you're going to be clogged up most of the time. And then just, the people who walk around like this and blowing their nose all the time and can't breathe properly, can't taste properly because we always congested. That ain't normal. We're not comfortable with that. Listen, let's get comfortable with being energetic. Let's get comfortable with feeling vivacious and energetic. Let's get comfortable in our own bodies where we feel like we can move and flow, where we feel like we could run a lap, where we could feel like we could chase our kids. Now that's what we should be comfortable with, not comfortable with aches and pains, not comfortable with not knowing how we can actually feel good. Y'all know what it feels like to feel energetic and youthful and vivacious? Yes, Felicia, thank you, honey. I'm going to preach it. Because it's silent on the boards today. Ain't nobody got nothing to say. It's silent. But that's all good. I'm going to preach it anyway. It feels good. It feels good to have energy and health and vigor and vitality. Listen, I'm living my best days. I'm living my healthiest life. I'm living my most energetic life. Because it is God's will for me to be in health and prosper. And to have energy and vitality and vigor. Y'all know I got a 5-year-old baby son. He likes to run and play. And guess what? I'm going to run and play and keep up with him. And by the time my baby son is graduating high school, they're not going to mistake me for the grandma. No, I'm the mommy. I am young, I am healthy, and I am vivacious. Hey, Crystal, how you doing, sweetie? So no longer should we be accepting chronic conditions as our way of life. We've gotten way too comfortable with sickness and disease. We've made them bedfellows. We've welcomed them in and invited them to stay. And now I'm kicking them out. I'm effectively telling them, no, you can't have my peoples. No, we don't accept low energy, brain fog, congestion, pain. We don't accept that as our baseline. We can be well. We can be in health and prospering. We can be energetic. We can have life and life more abundantly. Is that not the promise that God gave? But he did tell us in John 10:10, that first half, that the enemy seeks to come and steal, kill, and destroy. And that includes your health. But He came that you might have life and have it to the full, more abundantly, overflowing. And you crawling out the bed in the morning like, that ain't a portrait of life more abundantly. So what can we do about it? What can we do about it? How do we position ourselves? Number one, we got to shift our thinking. So the first thing is we have to determine in our hearts and be emphatic that, you know what? No, sickness and disease are not my portion. I'm called to life and life more abundantly. No, I'm not comfortable with low energy. No, I'm not comfortable with this pain in my joints. No, I'm not comfortable with all this congestion and mucus and bodily discharges and all that mess. No, I'm not comfortable with that. No. I do know that health is mine. I do know that energy is mine. I do know that clarity of thought is mine. So that's the first thing. It begins in the mind. Then we have to align our behaviors and our actions with things that support good health. Yeah, then we're going to have to do something about it. We're going to have to change our behaviors. Yes, I'm going to have to get out and do some exercise. Yes, I'm going to have to eat foods that support my well-being. Yes, I'm going to have to meditate and pray. Yes, I'm going to have to drink plenty of water. Yes, I'm going to have to breathe deeply. Yes, I'm going to have to do the practices and the behaviors that support my overall health and wellness. Okay? And then after that, we've got to be consistent with those practices so that we can see that, yes, they do work. Because you're saying, okay, Tyra, but I tried that. You know, I tried to exercise, I tried to eat right, and my knee was still hurting. You know what I'm saying? Or I tried to change my diet and I was still congested. Or I tried to change X, Y, and Z behavior and then I didn't see any change. Well, did you stick to it long enough? You know, some things you can begin to see changes. Like, let me give you this one, for example. Waking up with a faint headache. If you're one of those people who wake up like every morning and you've always got kind of like this dull headache, there could be a number of things that can contribute to that. But I'll tell you, two of the top offenders for those are sugar and caffeine, right? And then you say, okay, well, Tyra, fine. Then I cut the sugar and I cut the caffeine and then I had an even worse headache. Yes, well, maybe you did for 7 days because your body is going through withdrawal. All right? So if you have a situation where you may even have gluten sensitivity and you're eating you eat gluten and then you stop eating gluten and then you're like, but Tyra, I'm still feeling the pain in my joints. Well, it can take 6-8 weeks for all that gluten to get out of your body. So then did you try it long enough? Did you try it long enough for it to show its effects? So you got to be consistent with it. So the first thing, we got to shift our mindset that sickness and disease and chronic conditions are not our portion. We don't accept them. It's not just, it's the way it is. It ran in my family. It's my way of life. Well, I've always felt like this. No, we're too comfortable with it. So we got to change the mind. The second thing is, then we have to align our actions and our behaviors to ones that support health. And then thirdly, we got to stick long enough with it to see the change. Okay? So are y'all willing to do that? Are y'all willing to do that? And I want to help you to get the reset. Perhaps you need some help with the jump start. Perhaps you need to do something different in order to see something different. Thank you for joining today. And my Fully Focused Fast is the thing that'll help you with that. This is my 4th year leading the Fully Focused Fast. Perhaps you begin your year fasting with your church and you've done the Daniel fast. But you did Daniel fast, you know you was eating them veggie burgers and stuff like that. Y'all know Daniel was not eating no veggie burgers out in no frozen food section with hydrolyzed protein in it and all that stuff. No. We got to eat the good of the earth. Undefiled, untainted, good of the earth. And so in the Fully Focused Fast, we eat a high alkaline diet. We going hard in the paint. right? So alkaline diet is like Daniel on steroids. It's like Daniel, what Daniel should really look like. Just eating the good of the earth, undefiled, non-GMOs and non-hybrids, just eating the good of the earth the way God made it when it grew out the ground in Genesis 1:29. And then also in the Fully Focused Fast, we have a devotional, 21-day devotional, but it's actually even more than that. It's almost like a 30-day devotional because I lead you through a whole week's worth of pre-fast preparation before we get into the fast. So you know what you're getting yourself into. We got our private accountability group and then weekly Zoom teachings with me. And lives have been transformed. You talk about one of my clients, even 1 year, she could not believe how much her libido increased with changes in her diet. Okay, yes, translated to the bedroom, libido increase. Inflammation clearing up. People losing weight, clarity of thought. Oh, it's good. It's good. So if y'all need a reset and you looking to do something different because you want different, then you join me for the Fully Focused Fast. And I got an extra special thing going on where this year, all of our educators, for everyone who signed up, all of our educators, we're going to invite one educator for free to attend at no cost for everyone that's signed up. So the Holy Spirit said they need that. And considering it looked like we might be going back in a virtual environment for a minute, our educators really are going to need that love and support. So if you know an educator that you want to be gifted the Fully Focused Fast, you could DM that to me and I'll be sure that they get their registration info. If you have any questions for me about the Fully Focused Fast, you can email them to me at info@inspiredtolivefully.com. That's info@inspiredtolivefully.com or DM me. Otherwise, I want you all to walk in the truth that we are not comfortable with sickness and disease, that health, vitality, wellness, clarity of thought, energy are our portion. Okay? God bless. Love you all. And as always, it is my prayer that you all have been inspired to do differently. If you want different, you got to do different. Right, Felicia? Y'all take care.